It's going. I'm streaming. Yep. Big delay though. Holy moly! I put it on the low latency and it's still delay. So I got. Does this work in here? Yes, we got the chat. This chat doesn't work. I thought you had chat in OBS. That's okay. I'll put this over here. I can see it. I can see here. There's Dave. Hello, Dave. Good evening to you. Jack, nice to see you as well. Good, so at least I can read the chat now. I just gotta look down there. And it's not too bad, it's a little bit of latency. That seems. I have a wireless camera right there. And sometimes it lags a little bit, but it's pretty good. Like it's that's pretty good. Do I have it turned on? Yeah. There we go. So I can like, ooh, take a look at that. Take a look at me. And all the stuff. Beautiful day. Beautiful day today. July 3rd. So here we are with the Apollo Phantom. It's right here. Yeah, so he's blocking up a little bit. That's okay. Should come back. Come on, you. Oh, maybe I spoke too soon. It's not always the way. Like it was working perfectly. Come on, you. Come on, you. Let's go. Still waiting. Oh, oh. No, almost got it. So yeah, Apollo Phantom. And I guess tonight I was going to talk about 10 years with the Apollo Phantom. And also I was going to show, I did a little short video a while back. I just haven't had time about the lights I put on and the signals. So I'll talk about that stuff. And well, basically I'll just take it apart and show you. It's probably the easiest way to do it. I didn't want to take lots of time and make a video while I was installing it because I actually really wanted to have lights and signals, so I just kind of did it pretty quick. Yeah, so I thought I'd go over the stuff that I've encountered, stuff that I've changed and modded, little techniques maybe. Oh, forget. I got lots of little items. I got a whole list on my other phone, wherever that is. Oh, it's in my pocket here. So, let's get to it. Actually, I need a drink. Thursday. Give me 1 second, guys. So I'll just put this here. Murder. Downwards. Okay, be right back, guys. 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Just got some water. Dries out your mouth talking. Or my mouth, anyways. So, what should I start with, eh? We'll start with the lights. And I can talk about what's going on. What's going on? Let me get my little list here. Slim Panda. Oh. My list of stuff about the Phantom, all the things with the stuff. There we go. The highs, the lows, the flats. A year with the Apollo Phantom. I'm not going to make it an in-depth review, but actually it might not be so reviewy as more than observy and fixy. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about the the customer service. I'm just on the neutral line of it because I've read so many people on either end of the scale and in between. I had this, and I had the same teething problems as everybody else. I had the version 1, and I had to send it back. The front cracked, all that business, and that all went pretty good. I haven't really had any issue with them customer service wise, but I haven't had a whole lot of issue. So, plus I'm pretty handy, right? So any kind of little things that popped up, I just dealt with it. Yeah. So let's start. So the flats. Well, the flats were bugging me for a while, and I'm like, why am I getting so many flats on this thing, right? Not so many. I think I've had 3, which is like 1,000% more flats than on my bicycle. so naturally I'm like, what the heck is going on? Do you like my special? This is the old-timey scooter mount. Can I change the? I can, yeah. Let's do the. There we go. I get a little bit of the gimbal in there. That's okay. I don't know if I like that. It's pretty good height for me. I don't like leaning down. Someday I'll get something special. I don't know, or I'll make something special. Yeah. So the flats. So the V1s came with really shitty tubes. The tubes are really crappy. I think I got one over here. That's it. You know, because they feel all flimsy. Yeah, there's one. They feel all flimsy. It's kind of hard to tell just by looking at them. They look kind of the same, and this is like the V2 tube. So these had manufacturer problems, and they just lose air eventually. They just pop a hole on their own. And I went through all the V1 tubes. Part of it's my fault because I have the sealant. The sealant for your tires, of which I used on my V1, but I had to send the V1 back, so I lost pretty much half my, pretty much half of my flat stuff. So, a little bit on my end, not putting the stuff in. But still, why do you get so many flats? And I figured it out. And it's very simple. Very simple. When you have weight on this, it's like I don't know, 30 centimeters of contact area on the road. Like that's like crazy wide, and that's why you get so many flats. Just because you have such a high odds for such a large surface area on the ground. Whereas on my bicycle that has very, very, very tiny, narrow tires, and I don't think I've ever had a flat. I've had the valve not hold air, but that was okay. But it's because they're so narrow, and there's very little chance you're going to run over or something. And so I put the V2 tubes in it. That's what this one is, a little thicker, and I think this one's fine. I don't know why I changed it. But I bought some, it was one of the first mods. Not first mods, but you see these are 10 by 2.5s. So I bought off Amazon to sell with the little I'll make a whole like list of stuff. I was going to do it before I started streaming, but I was just too lazy. But I got 2.75s, and the reason being is they're a little larger in diameter, so they're not as expanding as much in the tube, in the tire, you know, because they're a little bigger already. So technically, if fully inflated, it would, you know, it's a little thicker. And the reason you wouldn't really do that is because it's heavy. But we don't care on the electric scooters. Nothing but power. Nothing but get up and go. Oh, that's a good shot. Sorry, guys. Yeah, so that's my tube rant. So I'm on the aftermarket tubes. It's pretty much the same thing except the 275s. And so far so good. I haven't had any issue. The last flat I had was on the V2 tube, and it was actually a defect, like where the seams are. You can see where the seams are of rubber. But yeah, but they've been fine. I haven't had any issue with those, but I still got to put the sealant in, and the sealant it's kind of like automatically fills a little hole. It won't do a big hole. Excuse me. So if you run over something like a tack or something like that, a little hunk of steel or something, you can pull it out, and the stuff inside is kind of thick and gooey. It'll kind of fill up the hole and dry out, so you don't have to worry as much about getting stranded. But it won't do like big holes. It'll just do smaller holes. Yep, you can see I've been using it quite well. It's pretty dirty, a little rusty, dare I say. I had it out in like January, February. So that was something else I was going to talk about, is the cold performance, and it was fine. It was like minus 25 one day I had it out, and it felt like, it's funny, it felt like like it was less voltage, technically, because it just didn't have that kind of kick. It just kind of took a little while to get going, but it was fine. I had lots of time on it. Not too much I noticed different, really. And so it's fine in the cold. I didn't have any issue. And to be honest, I haven't had any real issues with it in a while. Now that it's kind of broken in, I guess, and all the crap has been fixed and whatever. It hasn't really given me any issue, which is great. So like I said, the other thing I did to this is the V2 frame. So it has the thicker, I don't forget what they call this, fork, support. Just let me center this again. Oops, how come it went around? That's weird. Why are you looking at me? Go the other way. Oh, there we go. Oh, now it's stuck mode. There we go. Sorry guys, that took a little much longer than it needed to. Oh yeah, the steer tube brace. I forget what they call it. I'm sure they got a name for it. This is like it's not really a strut. It's not really a fork. I forget what they call it. They got names for it all, and it doesn't really matter to me because they know what you're talking about anyways. But anyways, it's a V2 frame, and it's the thicker. It's got a more material here because they were breaking right here. And mine eventually broke there. I just went down a curb, not hard or anything, just went down and the front end kind of kicked out. And that was the end of that one. That's the end of that. And I got another one, and you can tell it's the thicker one. See, there's a little bit of sticking out on the front. And I know what they did. I know exactly how they fixed this issue. Because this is cast, right? This is a sand cast aluminum piece, this whole piece here. And what they did to make it thicker is they kind of like in the CAD or whatever, they kind of just pushed it ahead a little bit, like the thickness part. So you could see if it was pushed ahead, it would get a little thicker here, but it gets thicker on the front and not on the back. So I think that's how they made it, how they kind of corrected it. Just kind of took the mold drawing and pushed it ahead a tiny bit so that it would use more material. But that being the case, I still got the kit that they sent you to fix up all the issues with the V1, right? Even though this isn't the what is it doing there? It's not turning. Yeah, now it's in follow mode. There we go. Yeah, what's going on? It doesn't want to get out of, I'm just going to restart it. Sorry about this. There we go. That's the way to go. So yeah, I ended up getting a kit, even though I had the V2 frame. So just because I am who I am, I put the brace on anyways. Like, why not? So it's extra strong, super strong. I was gonna paint it, but I don't care. It's fine like it is. So yeah, so just get the double. I don't mind. I like knowing that it's good. I'm pretty. I wouldn't say I'm rough on it, but like I go up and down curbs and small sets of stairs, and you know, I'm not ginger with it, but I don't bash it up. But when the first one broke, I'm just like, why would I not put that on? So I did. I guess not really a mod, but you don't really need to on the V2 frame, I guess. Yeah, so what else I was going to say is, yeah, I got a lot of stuff, but we'll get into that stuff after. Let's talk about the lights. These guys. So, come out of it here. So all this stuff, these turn signals, the lights, and the little bar that it all goes on, all came from Amazon. Everything's there on Amazon. And it's all, these are motorcycle parts, I guess. Well, I know. Like these little bullet lights are for motorcycles. Yeah, but this thing is for bicycles, and this is, you mount it for, you know, you mount it on your handlebars so you can mount other stuff on. So it's like a clamps on your handlebars, and then you can put like your, I don't know, your speedometer or whatever you want on the handlebars on this part here. Usually it would be up higher, but I thought it'd be great for just holding all the signage. So I just Of course there's a siren. So what I'll do is, once again, I lazed out. I was going to have all the Amazon links and stuff. I even have an Amazon account, so I could even make affiliate. Like, I have an affiliate account, so I could do that and make affiliate links. But you can just search for these motorcycles, and these actually, you can kind of see it. They have the fog light in it, the yellow. That's not that yellow. It's hard to tell. That yellow, see that darker ambery yellow? That's for fog lights. So it's got a white light and a fog light, but I just hook both of them up so you have both. Anyways, it's just easier. Not too worried about driving in the fog on the scooter. And then these lights, they come like that. Let's turn it on. Why not? Let's turn the headlights up. That's what it looks like. You can kind of see the, yeah, so you can see the yellow. Whoa, it's bright. There's the yellow. It's like on the lower part. I think this one's like, yeah, it looks, it's funny. This one I think is on the side, and that one's on the bottom. I guess it's just the manufacturing. Okay. But the signals. Once again, they're motorcycle parts. And the signal does this thing. So all you gotta do is put, 12 volts on it, the whoop, whoop, whoop. So it doesn't have an external thing to make it do that. So they're pretty simple, right? And I'll get to the nitty gritty in a minute. Yeah, they're selling in packs of 4. And I think they're like, I think it was like $25 or something. All this stuff is super cheap. I didn't go for the best. I went for the almost the value. I didn't get the cheap ones, but I didn't get the expensive ones. And these actually have clamps, to clamp on the handlebar of a motorcycle. But the clamp is very large, as this is just a bicycle size. So what I did is took the clamp off. Let's see from this side. There's a hole there, and you can put like a hex key through the hex key, and goes up this guy. So it's this man. There's a hole up there. So this hole is big enough to get a hex key through, and then this hole is up here is just big enough to put the stud through. So that's how these get mounted, and then I just offset them slightly. See that? Because what I found on the scooter over the years is you want to see what's right in front of you often at night, because it doesn't take a whole lot to put you over the bars as far as the pothole goes. So yeah. Yeah, so it's good to have light right in front of you, so you can see exactly, a couple of feet ahead where your front tire is going to be. It's caught me a few times. I've been over the handlebars, I think, half dozen times. Mostly my fault. But yeah, that's the. Once again, I'll post the links, but these are all on. This is all on Amazon. And this is the original lamp down here. And what I don't like about the original lamp is it's got a big hot spot right in the middle, where it just makes there's like light all around, and there's a super hot spot in the middle. So it's not totally useful. And the reason I really did this, it wasn't showing off or flexing or anything. I just find it's really, for a vehicle, what they call a vehicle class scooter, to not have front, to have rear signals, but not front signals is, I don't know, it's hanky. That's kind of hanky. So, because I felt, I wouldn't say horribly unsafe, but drivers don't know what you're doing. And if you want to turn left, they're looking at it, they don't know if they should stop or what, right? So it's so weird for a vehicle class thing or whatever. I don't know if that's a real thing. It has no front signals. So that was why I wanted to get it on so quick. And now I feel really good riding it around. It's really nice being able to just hit the left lane and signal, and or hit the right lane and signal, and everybody knows. Going straight, or is it stuck up like that? Oh, that was me. Hey, there's a blue jay. I hear a blue jay. Maybe you guys can see it. Oh, it's gone. Oh, those aren't blue jays. They're just. No, it is blue jay. Sorry, guys. Gotta look at the blue jays. There's a couple of them that live here. They live around here. Sorry. Alright. Oh, I'm still on Zoom, that's why it's all weird. So how do you get the... Oh, it shuts off, right? By itself, if you haven't used the scooter, it just turns off. So how is it that they're powered? And how is it they actuate? They turn on when you turn on the normal switch there. You know, because the switch will do the back signals, and but I set it up so that it also does the front. And I'm still going to change this combo. I can't believe also a vehicle class that you have to use a bell. It's ridiculous. So I actually have a motorcycle horn. I'll show you. Oops. Shit. I forgot a box of stuff. Found it all. So yeah, I got like a motorcycle horn, a 12-volt horn. So all the oh, it's the other, it's the other one. All the lights and everything on the scooter are 12 volts, and yeah. So all the lights when you buy them have to be 12 volt. Yeah, so that's, I'll use this one. So that's just a regular motorcycle horn. You know, but they do use a lot of current. They use a lot of power, so you can't just hook it up to the already built-in voltage regulator that's in here. And so, to be honest, I wasn't sure that it would be able to run the lights. Put this up a little bit. Yeah, I wasn't too sure if it would be able to run the lights, but it does. I kind of made an educated guess when I looked at the circuit board. So I think they're only like 2 watts or something like that, which is incredible how bright they are. So to run these, basically imagine this. So there's lights, right signal, left signal. So that's 3 wires, and then ground. And you always need a ground. So that's 4 wires altogether. And I added these cables here, once again from Amazon, and they're I can't remember. I think they're 4 or 5 conductor cables, and so I just used one of those. I didn't bother like putting it inside the stem. I don't think they should have done that to begin with. I'd rather it just out on the outside. It's much easier to work on. So anyways, yeah, I just have it. It just goes up the side. This is from Amazon too. This is great. This little holder. Put some silicone tape under it. It's awesome. Yeah, so I had to put those extra wires in. I put 2, and I only really need 1, but I put 2 just in case, I don't know, I wanted to do something else. I wasn't too sure yet. But also I'll need ones for the horn. And what was it? The horn and high beam. I think high beam, low beam. So yeah, so that's got to come up and down here. There's all the good stuff's in here. So surprise, believe it or not, I need this thing, this huge DC converter to run the horn. That's how much power a horn uses. They're so inefficient. They're super inefficient, right? So yeah, 1.5 amps at 12 volts. It's a hella horn. It even tells you 460 hertz. Everyone likes that tone. So that's the high one. There's even a little way they tune it. This little screw here, that's what you use. It's all Loctited down, but that's how they tune it. So I'm going to put that on eventually, and I have no idea where or how. I was just thinking maybe on that little bolt there. something like that. But it's ugly. Anyway, it's safe. I'll deal with the ugly. The other major thing I need to do, that I wanted to do all at once when I put the lights and the signals on, is put a proper motorcycle, go this way or that way? This way. The proper motorcycle light controller. So that's your horn, that's your lights on, lights off, and this is like a proper turn signal. That's what I hate about this one, is that it's a button, and I always forget to turn the button off. And with this one you can see, you know, it's that way or it's that way. With the button you can't tell. It's easy. It's more precise when it's on the bar. And that was from Amazon too. And it's kind of cool. It's got like one of those standard camera threaded holes, so you can put, you know, like a holder for a sports camera or something like that, a Hero. It's kind of neat. It's all aluminum. I'll put a link for that too. For that, I think that was an even $30. So I mean, all this stuff's very inexpensive. So that's got to go on still. The horn's got to go on. I think I might abandon this style of horn because that's ridiculous, having this huge thing just to run the horn. So I'm going to come up with something else, I think, now that I'm standing here talking about it. Well, there's the chat. Just took forever to come up. Or is it hidden? Oh yeah, it's got a, why does it need so much space? Stupid thing. Hello, Michael. How you doing? Happy Independence Day. I guess that's tomorrow. It's Canada Day for us on Friday, but I took tomorrow off too, so I was supposed to be away, but that's okay. I don't mind staying around at home. So where was I? Adding cables, blah blah blah. Yeah, and the voltage for the horn. I'm going to put something different for the horn. So it has its own voltage controller, because this is whatever 56 volts, or I forget. So it has to turn 56 volts into 12 volts, and then the 12 volts runs all the lights and everything. So the circuit, the board that does that, is only going to be able to put out so much current. It's only going to be able to do so much work, because it's not designed for anything other than it was, you know, for one little headlight and two little backlights and a brake light. You know, it's not very much. So I'm pretty sure it won't handle a horn. But I kind of lucked out. These are such low consumption, this stuff. I think it's fine. And it's not like the lights you leave on all the time, but only at night. So it's not like they're on for, well, for me, for hours or anything like that. Yeah, Michael, I'm just talking about Euro with the Phantom. I'm going over a few things. I posted a video about the lights and the signals and stuff, and I didn't really tell anybody anything about it. So I feel kind of bad, but I just didn't have time. Let's take my connection. Oh, that's fine. All right. It's all good. So I guess that brings us to what's under here. I'll have to take this off. And I'll show you what I did mod as far as that little voltage converter. And we'll talk about some stuff that I liked and, well, mostly disliked about their setup and the motor controllers and stuff like that. So that was part of it. I'm an idiot. I didn't get all my tools together, but 1 second, I just got them over there. That's good. Oh, I need some more water already. Excuse me. I know people don't like lip smacking. Tack Life, well-known brand. Just looking for the right bit here. Away it goes. Oh, they're Allen keys. They're hex keys. Silly head. Sorry, let me aim the camera better. There we go. There we go. That's okay. Yeah. See, it's pretty good for latency. It's not bad. It's hard to do stuff in both frames. Anyway, sorry. I just think it's so cool that it works so well over wireless. Although the router's not far away from me. So we need a hex key, eh? I know it came with some, so maybe I'll go get those ones. It comes with a kit, the Phantom tool kit. It looks like that. Ah, fell right on. Oh, there we go. Fell exactly on the knuckle of my big toe. It's like it was trying to get it. Yeah, so it comes with this little handy dandy toolkit, and it's actually pretty decent. It's pretty good. The Allen keys are pretty good. Hex keys. I call them Allen keys because I'm old, and it appears I'm missing two bits, but that's okay. I got lots of bits. Bits and bits. Let's see if that's the one. I think it's the one. No. So, oh, there it is. I see it. I just left it in the screwdriver. Oh, mosquitoes. This came from Amazon too. This is a great little electric screwdriver. Go straight if you want it, or whatever. But I think it was like $35. Anyways, all the good stuff from Amazon. I get everything from Amazon. Yeah, so they got this little kit. And it comes with, when you buy it, it comes with extra brake pads. And supposedly you get brake pads for life. I haven't got around to it yet because I still have some. Because I got two Phantoms. I had to send the first one back, but I didn't send the kit back. And so when I got the other one, it came with a kit, and it came with a charger, so that was a bit of a bonus. So I got two of the 200-watt chargers, and then I got the free 400-watt charger when I bought the scooter. So that worked out. But there's one now, I'm just looking in here, and I think they screwed something up. I think they put the wrong adapter for filling your tires in it. This is an aftermarket one, and I'll show you. I think I've got it right on this. So these are the ones they come with, these ones here, and let's get in. And they're basically just a tube, a hollow tube. This screws on the valve, and it kind of extends it out, and then you can put your pump on this end. Because the valve itself is very buried inside, so it's hard to, you can't clip a pump onto it easy. You need an extension. But this has no valves in it. Like when you screw it onto the valve of your tire, it just starts letting air out. You know what I mean? There's no, it kind of doesn't make sense. But that's what that comes with. I think what it meant to come with is one of these, which actually has a valve in, like a actual Schrader bicycle valve on one end, and the same thing on the other end. So this doesn't, you screw it on and it doesn't leak air out. Like it's, this is what they meant to put in, and they put the wrong one in it. Or they just didn't know any better. I don't know. Yeah, but this is the one you want to get. Once again, it comes from Amazon. I'll put a link in, and you'll know because it's got the, let me see better on this one. So it's got like a Schrader bicycle valve on one side. Yeah. Get yourself one of these. Just makes throwing tires way easier. Well, here's the raccoons. Dying to go. To say I have a raccoon problem is an understatement. Oh, I don't have the problem. They have the problem. The problem's me. I'll just take the deck off. So it basically, the way they did is they put grab the thing. Knock out away. This actually moves around. Right? Jerk, jerk, jerk. Yeah. So the way they glue the pad, the grip on, they leave a little bit off. So these are. That's how you get at the screws and push this. You just push the decking stuff. So I just go around and undo all of those. Thing getting in the way. It does a little. Just give me 1 sec, guys. Just 1 sec. I'll show you what I'm doing. You'll see what I'm doing. Transform. I want to transform. I want to edit the transform. And I want to crop from the right. And that's going to crop from the right. Yep. And we just let it go. You guys don't know what I'm doing, but you'll see in a second. Just takes a minute. Anyway, if I just type in, I'll just type in 300. See what that does. That's pretty good. And I'll shove it over a little bit more. Yeah. 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 I'll stop doing that. Yeah. Go and get ready. Get ready. There we go. Now we got more space. I cropped myself. Push the edge in. Just pushed it right there. So I use electric screwdriver for pretty much everything. Being as they're so cheap. And what makes the electric screwdriver is it has a tension. You set the tension on it so it can go to like, it'll go so far and just let off. That's depending on where you turn the tension. And you can put it to drill mode where there is no back off. So that's something to put my screws in. I just hope I don't let them all fall down between the cracks of the deck. You shouldn't be working with screws and stuff on a deck with, planks. So it's just going to fall through. I guess I'd take the plank up, but that's a lot of work. Just taking out all the screws. Gonna take them. Oh, that one's all loose. And I didn't tighten it down to begin with. Who knows? Oh, I see. Now I'm way over here. Turn this a smidge more. There we go. Yeah, why didn't I do that before? Okay. I've never done this before, so I never did live streaming with this setup. Yeah, this one's all loosey-goosey too. And that's after a year of riding this around. You know, I was thinking about the linkage, all this stuff, all these bolts and all that. So I did go around with a socket and everything, and everything stayed tight. But what didn't stay tight is the axle nuts. On the wheels. One of those was, a pair of them was loose, I think, on the front. And I think it's because the front drives, so it's got a little more torque and stuff on it. And they just back right off. So check your, like on a car, always check your lug nuts. Don't trust that someone put them on right. So you're gonna see your wheel going past you on the highway. Well, the last one's always persnickety. I'll show you guys something though. They didn't use the highest quality screws, so this one actually stripped out a while ago, so I had to drill it out, and I just haven't bothered. You know, putting in a screw. I don't ride it in torrential stuff. Oh, it's just gross. You'll hear the raccoons soon enough, and I'll have to ignore them, because they do get my goat, my raccoon goat. Okay. So yeah, check your wheel nuts frequently, I would say. I do now. I also check these bolts here that hold the brake caliper on. Make sure they're tight. After, you know, whatever, a whack of kilometers. This has about 1,000 on it. So it kind of works out, maybe 1,200. So it's like a year and 1,000 kilometers. And but the catch is every time you put in the new oh, I got an extra one. If you get your kit, or whatever kit that comes out, the V3 kit or whatever, you get a V2 kit, you get another display with it. It's supposed to be brighter and stuff like that. I got an extra one because the first one they sent me wasn't compatible with the key switch and stuff. So because the key switch out, like one of these cables was wrong, or this pin different for a different setup, or I don't know. So they sent me the right one, but I also got the one from the V2 upgrade kit. So I had a spare one. Well, I have a spare one. But the thing is, when you do catch up, you'll catch up. Uh-oh, I'm frozen. They reset. You know, your kilometers isn't stored inside the deck. Or like on the controllers in here, it's stored on the display. So I think I had 500 on the first display, and now I'm on this one, and it's like 6 and change. So you have to keep marked down. If you change your display, remember to mark down your stuff. Okay, so off with its hat. I'm trying to find the good sweet spot for this camera. Sorry, I keep gazing at gazing. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, straight down the deck. See, it's funny, it gets fast and it gets slow. But it's here, it does very. It's called Epic Cam, EPOCH. Epic Cam for OBS. If you're looking. Usually comes out pretty easy. There's a gasket underneath, and there's a little piece of foam up here for where the controllers are and that. It's just a plank of steel. And it is steel? No, it's aluminum. Yeah, it's aluminum. But, yeah. What's that from? Ah, from the edge. So you take this off, and then you can get into the good stuff inside, where it all happens. The happening. No, I forgot to get the pictures. I have pictures of how it was before I kind of changed the setup. So, yeah, so this part here is the battery, this big ass green thing, and it says on it what it is. 23.4 amp hours. It's a heck of a battery. So basically, if you had to buy this, their scooters, it's like 2,000 and change. This battery would be like, I think it's pretty much $1,000, maybe a little more. It's pretty much half the scooter cost is the battery. So take care of your batteries. But when you get it shipped to you, how they have the motor controllers, I didn't like. They have them kind of willy-nilly in there. So I kind of arranged them a little better, and I used some special silicone tape to treat some silicone tape on the bottom to conduct the heat to the metal frame of the scooter, and the other one's under here. So this is the back motor controller, and I'm just going to take the gasket out. Getting in the way all the time. Yeah, so this is like the little bit of the extra cable I put through just for, for future use. So I just kind of tucked it up in there. Yeah, and then underneath, there's the one underneath the motor controller, and this in this configuration. This is the front motor controller. I have it silicone taped to this one, but at the bottom, so that heat is kind of going through from him to the frame. And I've had no overheating issues ever since. I didn't get a lot of overheating issues, but it would do this, like it would overheat and then shut down, which is what it's supposed to do, but and it takes a little while to, I guess, for the heat to go down. But as soon as I moved them into this configuration, I never had that issue again. So while we're in here, we're going to talk about the signals and the lights. Just got to get in it here. Okay, so basically the way they set this up is these two lights on the front are like headlights, so they're on the same wire. They're in parallel, the two front, and the top light is also in parallel. So that's 3 lights off one run. Okay, so I figured it would be able to support those guys, and that is accomplished with this little sort of splitter outer cable. And there's 3 conductors, and lamp 1, lamp 2, lamp 3. So it's pretty straightforward. And then there's a conductor for the brake light, a conductor for the signal, another conductor for the signal, and the lights. So there's 3 more, but we don't care about the brake light. So all of that, I mentioned that inside there's a regulator. And the regulator is actually responsible, the same circuit board is responsible for controlling the lights from the switch up here. So when you push the switch, it runs down. Actually, you push the switch, it goes into the controller, and then it comes down to here, and then it talks to this little circuit board here, and the little circuit board turns on the light. And now this isn't how it looks, this guy here, when it's factory. I'll show you. black blocks. Oh yeah, it's like this little black box has a hole on either side, and alright, yeah, so there's a bunch of wires going one side, a bunch of wires going out the other side. This little box opens up, just like clipped shut. I must have re-clipped it. I can't get it unclipped. Oh, there's another switch I forgot about. I installed this too. This is like a individual light on off, or individual light high beam or whatever. So I can turn one off or one on, or I can make these like high beam, low beam, high beam, low beam, whatever. But this is from the same vendor that sells that switch, the thumb switch. This thing here. So it's really inexpensive stuff. Excuse me, guys. So there we go. It's just this little plain little box. You can see there's a notch with a wire going one end and a wire coming, or a bunch of wires going in one end and coming out the other, which is basically all of these wires here. It's hard to get a good look at it. Hang on. There we go. So yeah, this is the little circuit board, and basically half of these wires went in one side of this thing and half went out the other side. But I just took them, folded them over so they all come out one side. It uses a little less space. And just for convenience, this is what I've added here. And I put it on a connector just so I can disconnect the whole thing. So it's a little easier, but you can see, yeah, lights, left signal, right signal, ground. And that's how many conductors there are. So that works quite well. So and I just put a connector so I can just undo it, take out the whole controller. But there's like this side light, I think, and that is one of, oh no, that's one of those lights, and then the other one's probably the back brake light. It's pretty straightforward. That's about all that's in there, and I managed to get it all in there pretty easy. I'd like to do a little better. I think I can get this use a little less space and not be so bendy. Yeah, so I took it out of this, and this is it here. And I'll cut this off, and I'll show you. My tripod's loose. That's not bad, it's like on 2 times there. Not bad. I'm just gonna grab some, guys, in a sec. get my scissors, man, scissors. These are great. You got like a little spot there to cut strip wire, big cable or something. So I'll cut this off very carefully, and I'll show you. It's just shrink wrap, and I got lots of shrink wrap, so no big deal. Yeah, I can't really. I wish I could get the camera closer. How can I cut through this without ruining? It's probably fine here. Careful I don't put it through the palm of my hand. That'd be nice. And you know what I just realized? Breaking the cardinal rule. Oh, don't work on this with your battery hooked up. You never know. So always disconnect your battery. Always disconnect your battery if you're getting into this stuff, because you never know what you're gonna hit. And 50, 60 volts is it can do a lot of harm to you, but it does a lot of harm to whatever it shorts out to more, and that's just makes for a bad day. Come on, you. Off with you. There we go. This is good. Good. I never had to take it off. Good shrink wrap. It's very thick. Move these out of the way. I think I can show it in situ. To take it out so far. Got a reminder. So yeah, here's a voltage regulator, or a buck that usually called a buck converter. They either bring voltage up or bring voltage down, and in this case it brings whatever 60 volts, 50 odd volts down to 12 volts. That's holding, I guess. I don't have to go as close. And so the way this works is one of these little black guys for the transistors. Let's see if I can get this better. There we go. These three guys there are little power FETs, little transistors, and this one on the side, the big one here, is sort of a bigger one. It can handle more current, and that's the one that drives the headlights. So that's what I thought. I'd probably get away with using this on the new headlamps. So it's not that complicated. So basically that's the headlights, signal 1, signal 2, brakes, and that's it. So when you hit the switch on the top up here, you hit a button, it sends a signal to here. The signal goes all the way down to one of these wires here, and when one of those wires gets activated, it turns on one of these FETs, which lets the current go through it. So it was kind of handy how they designed this. Usually you'd have to take into account a little bit of heat dissipation, so they did. And the cables, you'll see, they all go on one side. There's no need to have them come out either side. I don't know why they did that. You see on the back here, it's kind of a bit for handling current and also for heat dissipation. But what they did, see, this is the cable I added right here. They put little pads on the back to help with the heat dissipation from the transistors, so you can just pick up on those. Super easy. And then the last one is ground. So yeah, this red one's the headlights. I notice it's on the larger pad, which is connected to the same component on the other side. Whoop, whoop, where are you going, man? Gimbally. And then I did the same thing for the turn signals. And I did the smaller ones there. And then that one I didn't use is the brake light because I don't need it. So it's right signal, left signal, and headlights. So this still runs all the existing lights, obviously, because the cables are all still plugged in. And then it also runs these ones additionally. So they're in parallel for all intents and purposes. So yeah, it's not a whole very complex. It's just, you know, one piece of the same cable. I put it on a connector, and that goes up all the way up to the lights. So there you go. That's the explanation. I don't know if that helps anybody. I know a lot of people are asking about it. And so that's the key. I think the key takeaway is that they let you pick up on the back at the voltage, or the, you know, when it turns on, those go high. 12 volts starts coming out of there. So it's, you know, as far as that goes, it's pretty easy to pick it up. By picking it up, I mean, you know, attaching another wire to it, rather than trying to, like if you had to, if it didn't have that, you would have to try and get it on one of these little pins down here, which isn't impossible, but it's a lot nicer just to have those. So, you know, it's not a hard mod. And then that's the other thing I said, is tucked all the cables going to one side instead. And I let it go over top like that, so it makes even less, makes it even smaller. So, yeah. Buck converter. So, but this, I'm pretty sure won't run a horn. I'm pretty sure it'll blow up if I put a horn on that. So, I'll figure out something else. I don't know what yet. So that's pretty much the rundown on the signals and the lights. Not really much more to say about it. Just you can put in the comments, and I'll try and, when I have time, get to them. I'll try and answer questions. But you can see everything else is pretty well. Remember, now there's going to be shrink over this, but everything else is factory. And then I got the spare cable here. Now there is, like, the way you get in here is down, way down, like it goes in through the middle. I wonder if you can see. Yeah. So there's a little box there, and it goes down, there's a little hole. And you can't fit much more than what's already in it. So it's a little, yeah, you can kind of see that there. You see that coily one is the front motor, main cable for the front motor. So yeah, there's the lights and signal rundown. And let's do this. No. Oops. Okay. Oh, it's supposed to be 2. There we go. There we go. Yeah. So there you go. That rounds that up. So in the V3, apparently, I don't know if they're selling them already or what, but there's a kit supposedly available that'll come that they have more up-to-date motor controllers, which is one of the things I was going to complain about. These are they're like ancient technology. Like, they're really crappy. Like, functionally, they're fine. Functionally, they're fine. They're not going to blow up or anything like that. But they got no features or options. Like, most motor controllers today have lots and lots of features and options. You know, Bluetooth and current limiting and all that good stuff. So these are very plain. All they do really is run the motors based on the throttle. And so which brings me to the other thing, that the V2 kit did come with a throttle, but I was impatient, so I just got oh, it's doing that thing again. There we go. I got impatient waiting for the V2 kit with the new throttle, so I just ordered one off Amazon once again. I think this is like $16 or something. It's the same thing. They're all pretty much the same. The paddle style throttles. So yeah, I put that on. I haven't changed it since. I have the actual one they gave you for the V2. But you said kind of like just bodged it in, just spliced it in, which is basically how I did the light cabling. Is all inside this tube. You can kind of see, I think, right there. It all kind of goes in. All the three cables go in there, and then everything's just spliced together, and it's all jammed inside there, which is fine. I didn't use connectors because it has to go through those small holes and end up in the little pipe there. And then to hold these on, they're just wrapped with fabric tape. I'm going to put some silicone sealant on there too, just to hold them tight and fast, but you'll still be able to get them out. So let's look at the old list now. I'm going to start talking about what's up with the Phantom. What's up with that? My notes, I'm a comedian. Okay, let's see, am I still, no, I'm in one-time mode. Okay, flats I talked about. ESC mounting I talked about. They do it crappy when it comes from comes from the factory. Oh, the brake calipers. This was an issue. And it's like one of the first things I did is fix this. Now, actually, where's my pokey? I'll use this. So, when I first got it, like if you look at the disc here, you can see the wear, from the brake pad. And you can see the brake pad goes almost to the bottom. There's a little bit missing, but I think that's good. I think that's a solid 90% of the disc. Now, when it showed up, I don't even think it was using half the disc. You could see the wear mark, but it was like half. And when I looked at the brake pads, it was like a big, gouge in the brake pad because it was hardly going on the rotor, or the disc. Sorry, well, rotor disc, same thing. So one of the first things I did is, if you look at yours, you'll see there's a special type of washer in here to allow it to rock back and forth when you're trying to line this up to get, there we go. So yeah, you can rock it back and forth like this to get it in line, and rock it back and forth like this. But I found the way they've mounted is very square to the disc, so it doesn't really need to do that. So what I did is I removed the extra washer in here that allows it to pivot. I think it's called a pivot washer. And what that did is it let it drop down just enough to get most of the coverage on the discs. So that's one of the first mods I did, and that's caused me no issue. And I highly recommend doing that one. Take that extra. It's black. You got one? It's a little black aluminum washer. And so you have these ones at the top. There's like two, like that, and it's because one of them's rounded and one of them's convex, so it kind of lets them pivot around inside. So I just took the one out. I think this is one of the most important mods because that gets the whole pad of the brake on the disc. You can see it failed a few times. it's had a little scratchy dents here and there. So let's talk about the brakes. These are the mechanical brakes. By mechanical, they mean when you pull the brake lever like that, I got up too quick, it pulls the cable, and the cable goes all the way down, to here, this cable here. And when that goes up, the pad closes. But you see how, like with a mechanical brake, there's no way for the one pad to move in and out. So what it ends up doing is it shoves the disc over to the other pad, which actually isn't that big a deal. But it makes a lot more rubbing. I just got used to this rubbing. It's no big deal. And they stop making, they'll rub, but they'll stop making sound eventually. Brakes. So I was talking brakes. Oh yeah, mechanical brakes. So if I had to do it again, I'd get the hydraulic brakes. But I'm handy. I got no problem just going through the brake pads. And I go through less brake pads with the more contact like that. So important mod or improvement, I would say. Now on the topic of brakes. Look at my notes. Brake caliper lowering. Oh, okay. Big there. Okay. Let's talk about the disc. The disc itself. Actually, the back one's better to look at. Now, the disc. They're 10-inch discs, which is basically the exact diameter of the rim of the tire. From outside here and outside there is exactly the same. And you see a big issue. See, this isn't going to spin free no matter what. And there's two reasons. Yeah, you can hear it. I don't know if you can hear it. You can see that right there. There we go. It kind of goes back and forth like that. So it's a little bent. So it rubs on either side when I'm going. So it's never free. Now, why do they bend? Everyone complains about them bending. They're either shipped and they show up bent, or they're easy to bend. And the reason they're easy to bend, now their hearts are in the right place, but because it's 10 inches, it's the exact same size as, like I said, as the wheel, the tire, the rim. So when you go up a curb or anything, not exactly perpendicular to it, you're kind of going up a curb like this, or you're just walking and you're lifting it over a curb, and you're rolling over it this way. You can kind of see what happens is the curb hits the disc. If you go too obliquely, you got to hit. If you're lifting it up over a curb, you got to go straight so it doesn't hit this. And I hit this all the time. It's hard to always do that. So it's constantly. Oh, see, it's not as much contact area on that one. Did I do it? Yeah, I did the mod on that. That's alright. You can see there's a little out of whack. I'll guarantee you what's out of whack are these little mounting plates. And they do the bolt in here, and it just holds the brake caliper on. But it probably a little bit of run out on here on the placement of the holes or something like that. I don't know. So yeah, it should be the same on either side, but this is a little less contact area. So that could have been the original, because I hardly use the back brake. I hardly use it. I usually use the front brake unless I got an emergency stop. Which brings me to my other gripe about these discs, about the brakes. Like I said, their heart was in the right place with these 10-inch discs. And having 10-inch discs gives you a lot more surface area. These are, sorry, incidentally, these are very large for a scooter. But like I said, it dissipates more heat quicker because it's more surface area, more friction, stops you faster. And that's the thing, stops you faster. There's a ratio of deceleration. Like basically, if the tire's small, the wheel is small and light, you need to reduce the size of the brake sort of proportionally, because there's no in between with this. When you hit the brake, there we go. It's just because there's so much surface area and so much friction and such a little amount of weight behind it, and all your weight's on the front mostly anyways, 75%, it constantly locks up. It's hard to stop without it skidding, and that bugs me. It's really hard to, maybe after the brake pads wear in a bit, it's a little easier to modulate, you know, but how do I get to that point when I can't, ooh, it's going all freaky. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Now we're gonna be gone. I think we're good. So yeah, that's just too big. These are way too big. I think maybe an 8-inch disc or even a 6-inch disc would be much better. It'd be more protected because it'd be in more. You wouldn't be always hitting it on the curb. It wouldn't always be running out. Yeah, because it's a smaller diameter, it would be a lot stiffer. It would be easier, but not as easy to bend it so it doesn't go straight. So I'm not going to do it, but if I had the time and the gumption or whatever to do it, I would actually buy new discs, 8-inch discs, and put them on. And how you would do that is basically this little mounty bracket here. I think it's kind of like on a taper a little bit, but you just drill another set of holes up more so the whole thing drops down, and it'll be fine. You just might have to file the sides that can drop down a little more. But I don't think I'm going to do it. That's a hell of a lot of work. But yeah, the heart was in the right place for the nice big brakes, nice sound feature, but they're just too much. They're too much friction for this light amount of weight. Like comparatively, these are very light. And I found an emergency stop. I really got to step on the whatever we call it, the fin. I got to get all my weight back to keep it from skidding. But like I said, usually I use the front brake. Okay, so that was the brake spiel. Just looking at the. Okay, so there was another thing they did for the V2 frame, and this is a pretty important one to check too. When I was talking about checking the bolts and stuff, make sure they're tight, and I found that most of them all were, except for the wheel nuts. V1 I got. I made a video, but I'm not going to post it. This whole part got loose from here, so the whole thing would rock back and forth like that, and it would never get tight. And the way it gets tight is there's up in there. There's a hex bolt way up in there with Loctite on it. And the old version had a much smaller diameter hex bolt up in there. So I guess it was prone to get loose. So this actually has almost twice, maybe a third bigger. It's a lot bigger, the bolt that goes up. But even at that, when I first got it, after about, I'd say, I don't know, 50 kilometers or so, it started getting loose too, but I knew exactly what it was, so I basically stopped using it right away. And I took it apart, took out these little set screws on the side, and basically put the red Loctite on, which is like the most Loctitiest Loctite on the threads and everything. And I actually let it sit for the better part of a week just to make sure. And yeah, 1,000 kilometers or so, it hasn't loosened up since. So they got that, they fixed that up. You just gotta make sure that they put enough. I don't think there was any Loctite on it. You can see it, but when I undid it, like I undid it fully just to see, and I don't think there was any Loctite. I couldn't be sure. It was the wrong kind or something like that. But yeah, now it hasn't moved, so at least they fixed that. That's all good. Yeah, and you can see this extra material here. That's how they fix the this part here from breaking. So that is, I think, all I had for the brakes. Next, yeah, the king bolt or whatever. All the linkage is fine. All this stays tight. I haven't had any problem with that stuff. It creaks a little bit. It just started doing it, but I'm not surprised. Stuff that just kind of sandwiches together like that. You know, just that seams. It can actually, you can see a little bit of wear. You can see it right there. Oh, it's from this thing. Yeah. Usually you see paint like that crack from the pieces, the top piece and the bottom piece moving a little bit independently. It'll crack the paint. You see this on anything like this. So it kind of gives you an idea of if there's sort of a creaky sound or something. If there was, it would probably be coming from here because of this little missing crack of paint. It's not a crack in the metal, it's just like the paint is cracked off. So bringing, while we're on the front, is the springs. And just so everyone knows and it's clear, these are not shock absorbers. They're not coil-over shock absorbers. They're just springs, right? There's no dampening system in them. They're just springs, and they work fine. But what happens is, because there's no dampening system in it, that when you hit something fairly decent, but it kind of rocks for a bit, you know, boing, boing, kind of like a diving board. Yeah, like a diving board. And that's directly because these aren't shock absorbers, they're just springs. And so that's another big upgrade. I'm gonna do on, you know, AliExpress. They got this size coil-over shocks. I think you can get like a pair of them for whatever, $30 or something stupid like that. And yeah, so that's definitely going to happen on this. I just haven't got around to it. And the other thing that's happened to this, because I guess the front takes a lot of brunt, the springs have loosened off since I got it in the beginning, which is fine. That's to be expected. But it's a lot more loose than it was when I first got it. So the springs. Oh yeah, and there's just like little things like how they to fix that. Oh, I haven't zipped it back on. I should fix that. Yeah, I zip tied this on better, but I haven't put it back yet. Just little things like that, and I zip tied these together a little better because they're kind of just flapping in the wind. A little bit of cable management. In the year, folding lock. Sorry guys. Replace the crappy throttle. I told you about that. Put in the extra lights. I say no reinforced plate. Yeah. You're right. Sorry, just one sec. Shocks, keep wheel nuts tight. Battery's great, weather resistant, it's fine. Yeah, it's so far it's been good in the weather. Haven't had any like in the rain. It's just the inside of this has stayed pretty dry. Oh yeah, I haven't got around to it yet, but the bar grips are crappy. Like they're super, they're like this teardrop shape. I guess it's supposed to be. But what it is it like they just spin around on you really easy. I just haven't got around to changing them. So these are really crappy. I change these if you get one. Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking. I guess they're actually upside down now. They've spun around so yeah, there you go. So that's how it's supposed to fit the palm, I guess. Those regular round ones. So yeah, I get rid of those. bar grips. For accessory mount. All right, there's a couple of other styles of these accessory mounts, and it's important to get the one with the clamps like here that can move back and forth here and on the other side, because this part on their scooter, this part here, the width is really wide, so the standard ones won't, they don't clear this. This part's really wide. And alright, let's getting closer. So there's a couple other things just off the top of my head. I'm just staring at my notes. So yeah, the disc brakes too big. These brakes are too big. Oh yeah, and if get the hydraulic ones. If you're buying a brand new one, get the hydraulics. A little more high tech, a little easier on the brake pads and stuff like that. And they won't be constantly rubbing. So that's a next upgrade for this. These are fine now, it works fine. Even if it does rub, like this is never not rubbed, but I don't even hear it when I'm going. And you know, it's got so much power, it don't seem to affect it at all. While we're still on wheels, I talked about putting the anti-flat stuff in here. And getting flats. These tires, I don't know if it is with all scooter tires, but they're not run flat, but I've ridden a long ways, probably almost 10 kilometers on a flat tire, and they're just so thick and wide, like you're going to destroy them after a while. But you can get away with actually riding for a while on a flat tire. It's not fun. It's kind of bumpy, but at least you can get out, get home or whatever. But I don't like the whole deal. I'm looking at solid tires. You can get solid tires, and they're just a little more heavy, quite a bit more heavy, but they have like little voids in them, so they absorb the shock and stuff. They're not like hard rubber. So I might do that eventually. But I think with the tire stuff inside, I'm not going to worry too much about getting flats. So what else do I want to talk about? Oh, the plastic trim, this stuff here is crappy. See, it's cracked like that. I have another bunch of it. It's part of the V2 kit. So this piece, I guess they gave, I don't know why, it's this piece here. I don't know why. I got a spare one. Once again, the screws are like that, so it's a little recessed. Yeah, it's really ugly. And they're crappy screws. See, they're all corroded. It's not really cracked or anything. It just looks shoddy. It's shoddy. I don't know. It's not like they do anything. It's not really hindering it or anything like that, but I just think it's kind of shoddy. I think they could have come up with a better clipping solution. Use like an automobile style trim clipping kind of thing. This part's fine. This is plastic, although it looks, you can see actually, I wonder if you can, the sun is actually, yeah, you can see here. This is sun leak. Sun affected. That's like the black it should be, right? And it's turned a lot lighter. It's black in there. It's the same piece. Yeah. I think what I'm gonna do. Yeah, recess screws this one. Yeah, this is kind of a lame way to put on trim and stuff like that. I don't know. I don't like it. Not one bit. I don't like it, sir. So you know what I'm gonna do? And I think it'll look cool because I'm actually gonna take off all the trim. I'm gonna take it all off. Take off this thing. Take off the side plates and everything like that, and it'll just look like a box, a rectangle box. But I think it'll look better, and I'll just do something else. I can still have the lights. I'll figure out the lights, and you know, I can get them in somehow. But I think that would look a lot nicer. Take these things off, this cheap plastic thing, this cheap plastic thing. Or maybe I can find some other trim or something. I don't know. I'll figure out something. But yeah, plastic parts I'm not too happy with. It's just a kind of a lame way to attach them. Oh yeah, and the quality of the bolts that hold down the deck versus the rest of the one that I had to drill out. So gripes, it's left me when I first got it new. It's left me dead in the water 3 times when I first got it, and I'm only bringing that up. 1, because it sucks, and 2, because out of all the vehicles I've owned in my entire life, cars, bicycles, blah blah blah, I had one, my 68 Volkswagen van just stopped while I was driving, dead in the water. Out of maybe more than a dozen vehicles, that's the only time on any vehicle that I've been dead in the water. No other time. I can always limp along with whatever. So these guys did leave me dead in the water, and that's a big deal to me. That's not convenient, you know. I remember last year I was walking in the super hot summer sun. I had to walk about 8 kilometers or something like that, and that was because of the motor controller's overheating. So when I got it home, I took it all apart and did this arrangement, and like I said, it's been good ever since. But being dead in the water, that's no good. And all, my ES4, my Segway ES4, I've used it for 3 winters, 4 years basically, and it's never left me dead in the water. I've actually never had any problem with it until very recently, when I had a lot of groceries and I had on my backpack and hung it on the bars, and it was just too much weight for it going up the little hill on the way home, and it burnt out the controller. But so that's totally my fault. But otherwise, it handles the corrosion and everything. It's never left me dead in the water. Never. So to have something so expensive, to use something like that, that's a real, I don't know, that's a real bad thing, you know. That really takes away from, you know, you wouldn't buy it's not like this is a high-end, you know, whatever, 2400. It's expensive, but it's, you know, in the mid-range of high-end scooters, I'd say. Where I was going with that? Where was I going with that? Sorry guys, forgot where I was going. Forgot my train of thought. It's because I'm old. I'm an old man. No, I'm not. Not really. You're only as old as you feel. I'm just looking at it, seeing what else I was going to talk about. These the brake levers suck. The regen brake stuff sucks, but apparently they fixed that. The regen would be part of the motor controller, so the new motor controllers apparently have a better regen, or what else do they call it? Kinetic energy, KERS, kinetic energy return, or something like that. There's a little switch here, switches, and it basically electronically brakes the wheel without actually applying the brake. It uses the electronics and the electricity in the battery to slow you down, which is highly preferable because you don't, it's like anti-lock brakes, they don't ever skid, you know, so they'll traction as much as traction is available. But it sucks. It's really poor. The Segway, once again, is amazing. It's got a little thumb throttle for the brake, but it's just the e-brakes, you know. You brake a lot or brake a little. These are just like all or nothing. And then my other great, so I've got used to the all or nothing thing. So when you first pull it, it starts the regen brake, the KERS brake. And as long as you keep it in the on position and you're not, you know, squeezing the brake, it'll stay on and you'll constantly brake and brake and brake. But if you let go and then grab it again, it very rarely picks up. So it's like you're slowing down electrically, you let go, and then all of a sudden you got no electric brake and you gotta use. So yeah, that leaves a lot to be desired. But I do use it. I've gotten used to it, so it's not so bad. It's like on the second to last setting. There's like a, you know, more or less, you can have more brake or less brake. So yeah, it's on like the top one almost throws you off the scooter. It's just so, there's no in between. It kind of sucks. Yeah, I think that's about it, to be honest. My biggest thing was I wanted to talk about the headlights and all that business. And then just talk about the issues I've had with it. Like I said, I'm going to avoid the customer service stuff. Just because it's a real all over the place deal. So I'm going to say in a nutshell, would I buy it again? Here's the thing. For the money this cost, expensive, it's a good deal. It's built really good for the money you're spending on it. The battery is very high quality. It's put together very well. I haven't taken it apart, but I can tell by how it's put together. I don't like how they got this silicone there, but there's nothing else they can really do. It's no big deal. So good quality, and like except for this piece here, good quality castings. These castings are very good. Yeah, the fit and finish could use a bit to be desired. Yeah, so I think now that the V3 is coming out, or is out, or whatever, I'm gonna say they pretty much ironed everything out. And now that it's all ironed out for me, it's I haven't had an issue since. You know, I was rid of all the little bugs. But I am going to get the V3 upgrade with the new motor controllers and the new regen brake and all that stuff. It's supposedly really snazzy, which is supposedly like how a motor controller is supposed to be. Have lots of features instead of just turn your motors on and off. Anyways, I think that's it. And my neighbors are getting rowdy. That's okay. I'm in Canada, so there's no Independence Day for us. That was Canada Day was Friday for us, so I took tomorrow off. So I was supposed to be away actually, in solidarity with my American friends. I had to do it. I had to take the day off. You know, I'm just doing my duty. Yeah. So, yeah. What else I want to say? Brake levers are crappy. The brakes just in general, the non-hydraulic brakes are just crappy. Not bad, but they're crappy. I see I've wiped out a few times. Yeah, that's it. So in a nutshell, yeah, it's a good product if all the kinks are worked out of it. And yeah, now that they are, I'm pretty happy with it. Except I shouldn't have had to go through all that rigmarole, you know, like you just don't want all that hassle when you first get something so expensive. It was late coming, and then I had to change it also. It was supposed to show up and be delivered in May. I think by the time I was settled with this one after I sent it back and everything, it was around this time, July. So yeah, it was pretty late, and I kind of counted on it to do some, you know, to make content for my YouTube channel, for Ryan Rides. So I was pretty upset being able to not, you know, miss all those months of making content with it. But yeah, so overall, yeah, I'd say it's a good runner. I get it. Apparently, I guess the newer ones have signals on it. I'm not sure, but I say that this upgrade, this Amazon Signal motorcycle upgrade, is a must-do. You just feel safer all around. Just being able to turn, so all the other drivers know what you're doing. You know, they can't read minds. You know, unless no, I'm not gonna say. Yeah, I think I got through everything. Let's just double check the old notes. They got the tubes. Got to clean it up so they're dusty. Yeah, there's my little list there. Ken Continuum. The Ken Continuum's live. Yeah, maybe we'll watch that after I've wrapped this up. Alright, guys. So, I'm not gonna. Basically, all of this goes back to the way I took it apart. And, excuse me. So, I won't, I'm not gonna go through and bundle this all up on stream. It's just, I'm just gonna put another piece of shrink wrap over it. It's no big deal. And, yeah, a little bit of a mess in here, but if you do this type of mounting with the silicone tape, it gets rid of all the overheating problem. So yeah, there's my my thoughts, my experiences. What other experiences do I have to talk about? Oh, off-road. The off-road capability of this is really good. It's really good. Like in two-wheel drive mode. You go up really slippery stuff, muddy stuff. It's really good for off-road with tires. You don't want to go through gravel and stuff like that, but not much can. So, but this does really well on paths, and you gotta watch the routes. But anyone has to watch the routes. But yeah, this handles off-road really well. And climbs really steep. It does a pretty decent incline in two-wheel mode, sport mode, as they say. Climbs up pretty much any hill. Never had an issue. Oh no, I did have an issue out in the country where their hills are super long, and that was my fault. I didn't turn on the other motor. I was just trying to make it up with one motor, and it overheated, so that was my fault. But that's another thing too, I guess, is I just leave it in sport mode all the time. You know what I mean? And so you're using twice as much energy all the time. Where was I going with that? So the battery spec is technically a lot lower for practical use. As far as me goes, anyways, I go 60 everywhere I go, 60, 65, all through the city, everywhere. I just push the lever down and I go. That's what I do. And it's fine, I'm used to it. And that's the other thing, you get used to going 60, 65 kilometers an hour through a metro area in a bike lane or whatever. And, becomes second nature after a while. And that's another thing, high speeds, this thing is pretty solid. I've read some people had some issues with balancing of the tires, but usually it's because they're not seated right, the tire itself. Also that the goo, this flat fixed stuff helps balance it out. It kind of like goes all around the inside, outside, kind of balances it out a bit. So yeah, handles great off-road. Just in general, now that it's all, like I said, got all the kinks worked out, it's been pretty reliable. Yeah. Also, it's not too many quirks you got to work with on it. There's one little stupid thing that I hate, and I'll turn it on. So, yeah, this is without the key. The original one came with like a throttle with a key on it, so you turn the key, it's just a switch, right? So the new ones don't have that. You just push the mode button. So this is it's such a small. Can it turn on? Can't tell. Can it turn on? Oh, you know why it didn't turn on? You can plug it in. Just plug it in. It's always exciting to plug it in. Watch this. Like that. Okay. I should actually I shouldn't power it up with this open, because the 58 volts goes here, right? Like one row of these is or one of these cables is the 58 volts straight from the battery. So if that hits the frame or whatever, it'll short out. And 58 volts is a pretty decent amount, enough voltage to do some stuff. Let me just put this like that. There we go. Solved. So yeah, and then you just plug it in. You should get a nice snap. Yeah, nice little snap. Unfortunately, that's that's the way it goes when you plug in this type of thing. It's just the capacitor is charging up. It's called inrush, and I don't think this one will do it because it already did it on the other one. There we go. So yeah, my one last little gripe. Signals off. Is okay, so this is the mode switch. Alright, turns it on, and also you push it and it changes the mode. Okay, so I'm gonna push it. Get ready. At the bottom there is where I'm gonna push it. I pushed it. Did it change? No. But I'll push it again. Now it changed. Now it changed. Every time I push it, it's fine. I go back to the beginning, push it again, it's fine. So it's like like when you first turn it on, it's so niggly, I know. But when you first turn it on, you got to push this button an extra time to go through the menus. So that's the only other thing I'd fix, is that extra amount of time it takes. Oops. Turn it off. I hear the raccoon, so it's time to wrap up anyways, I think. Time to pack up. Call it a stream. I hope it helps out some people. And feel free to leave some comments and suggestions or questions or whatever, and I'll do my best to help you out. Sorry for me, because I work. Well, I work not like more than full time, but sometimes my work is very exhaustive. So I'm in an exhaustive period right now. We're doing a lot of work, and so I have to take care of a lot of things. And so I just, when you get home from work and under those conditions, you just don't want to do anything, right? So, but I'll get through it. We'll persevere. I'll finish up what we need to do, and I can get back to doing this a little better, just more content. I enjoy doing it, so yeah. I'm still recording. Yeah, I recorded this whole thing, so if there's, I don't know, for whatever reason, I have a high-res version of it, you know? So there you go, a year with the Apollo Phantom. Overview by the 2.175 tubes from Amazon. That's a good upgrade. The brake upgrade, that's an important one. Taking those little washers out and letting the brake drop down, get more content on the disc. Contact. Those are the major things. And please, everybody, check your wheel nuts. Yeah. Like, I'd hate to see this come off while this is being driven under power. You know, you're not only going to wipe out, but you know, you're going to eat it, but it probably will destroy a bunch of stuff. So, you know, who needs more stuff to fix? And I think that's it. I think we got it covered. Looks like it. Yep, sorry, I'm just trying to make sure I got everything. Yeah. Yeah, so I can recommend if it's if it's the V3 Phantom or the upgraded V2 Phantom, yeah, I'd recommend getting it because it is, for the money, it's pretty good. It's good. You know, for this, in this price class, I think it's pretty good. Now I haven't had hands-on with a lot of others in this price class, but you know, YouTube's pretty good, and I'm pretty good with reading the specs and all that business and kind of making a judgment. So I think for the money, the Phantom's a good runner. Yeah, but yeah, it just sucks that it has so many teething issues. Um, yeah, it kind of sucks. Anyways, folks, what are you doing, Gimbal? Come on, you. There it goes. Is it going down? It's going down. Down. There we go. Alright, everybody. Have a great week. And Americans, enjoy your day off. And yeah, I hope that helps people out. Bye.